Corvallis. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started, team. Starting in your comfortable seated position, I'm going to actually sit back on my heels in child's pose today. Reaching those arms forward. You're welcome to sit in that seated position. This is just time for yourself in whichever position you're more comfortable in. Starting to expand each breath. Taking your time to shift your weight forward. We're going to shift into our tabletop, so whether you're swinging your feet behind you or you're just shifting forward from child's pose. Let's go ahead and do a few cat-cows. Inhale as you lift and open. Exhale as you tuck and round the spine. Let's repeat that a few times. As you exhale, go ahead and take a peek between your legs. Make sure those feet are pointing out behind you and they're not kind of coming in a little bit. Shouldn't really be able to see them. Let's keep the tops of our feet down. All right, as you complete that last exhale, let's shift back into neutral. Sliding that right hand, palm facing up. Let's go ahead and place it on the floor, relaxing that forehead or side of your head to the mat. Optional to raise that left arm up. All right, let's use that left hand to press ourselves back, sliding that right hand flat to the floor. Same thing on the other side. Left hand slides through and right arm raises. Let's use that right hand on the floor. Use it to press yourself up onto all fours. So we're going to do some spinal rotation here through the mid back. So let's go ahead and place that left hand behind your head. And I want you to open up away from the floor. Rotate back so your chest is facing the floor. So we're going to do that a few times. Open. You can take that a little bit further. Bring that elbow to your opposite elbow. Open. Add some rotation here. Bring that elbow to your right side. Awesome job. Go ahead and bring it back to center. Place that left hand down for support. We're going to do the other side. Right hand places behind your head. Open up away from the floor and down to the floor. We're not going to bring that elbow across quite yet. We're going to do one more. Just opening here. All right, now if you want to add that extra cross, you can bring that elbow across to that left side. Feels good on my chest too, not just my back. We're gonna do one more. Great job. Let's place our hands on the floor. We're gonna shift down to the floor, so elbows close to your body. Relax here at the bottom. Inhale, let's place those forearms on the floor. Inhale, lift and open. Exhale, down to relax. Inhale, lift and open. I have your hands or your forearms on the floor so that you're not pressing yourself up. Not yet, at least. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Feet stay on the floor. One more. Inhale. And exhale. We're going to keep up this back work today, or posterior work. So we're going to bring those arms forward. And we're going to do some swimmers. So we're going to do opposite arm, opposite leg. Just raise. Really try to control this movement. Squeezing those glutes. Try not to raise your head to look up at me. Keep that head down. Try to keep your back and neck in neutral here. Great job. Let's do one more on each side. And let's slide those hands below our shoulders. This time, your hands can be used, or you can place your forearms on the floor. You're going to press up into the cobra of your choice. Inhale, lift, elbows stay tucked to your body. What I want you to avoid is, see how my shoulders are shrugging here. Push away. You don't want to be a turtle in its shell. Go ahead and open your head out of your shell. Your turtle shell. I actually just came up with that. All right, I want you to wave those hips up and sit back into child's pose. All right, we've done lower and mid back, so it's time to get that upper back working here. We've done this one before. We're just gonna raise those hands off the floor and release. Doing that a few times. Hopefully by now you've found at least a little improvement if you've done this with me a few times. If you're able to get those hands off the floor, go ahead and tuck those elbows to your body. Extend and release. Imagine you have weight out in front of you. You're pulling it down. Extend, release. Using those upper back muscles, squeeze here. Let's do one more. All right, go ahead and relax those shoulders, those hands. I'm gonna rock side to side. Feel free to join me, or you can just stay relaxed in your child's pose. Eventually taking those hands over to one side. And over to the other side. Hands come back to center. As we shift our weight forward into that tabletop, let's go ahead and bring that right foot forward. We're making a 90-degree here, bringing those hands off the floor. Adjust my mic here. And just tucking those hips under so you can squeeze those glutes. You can use your thumb. So if your hands are placed on your hips, you're just using your thumb to roll under. If you have a pillow or something a blanket, you can use it under your knee for a little more support. Let's place those hands down to the inside of that front foot. I'm going to take a few steps forward here and just give my hips some time to open or sink deeper into this stretch here. Once you feel like your hips have gone as deep as they can, go ahead and open that foot out to the outside of your mat. Allow the inside of your foot to open. And let's release here to our forearms. Pressing yourself back to those hands, bringing that foot flat and in a few inches. Let's go ahead and tuck our toe under behind us and lift that knee off the floor. We're going to go back into that rotation, lifting our right arm up. Left hand stays on the floor, but we're not sinking into that shoulder here. We're still lifting. Replacing that left hand with our right, allowing our heel to release as we open our hip. All right, from here, we're gonna get a little tricky. We're gonna sit back into our lateral lunge on the left side. So we're gonna lift and sit back. Notice my heel or my toe is off the floor. On this side, my foot is flat. Let's go ahead and lift, open, rotate that heel. Hands placed on the inside of that front foot. Let's step back into plank. Hips press back into downward dog. Go ahead and adjust those feet as needed. Really find your breath here. Control your breath. Don't let it control you. I know it seems like a funny statement, but there's so many times throughout the day we get stressed, we cut our breaths short, and we don't even mean to do it. This is your time to regroup, restart. Let's take those hips forward. Shift into that plank. I'm going to have you hold this plank for a breath or two, modifying to your knees if needed. Or 5 or 6. I know I said 2. I lied to you. Strong through the shoulders here. 3, 2, gently release those knees, sit back into child's pose. Very good, everyone. We are going to do that sequence on the other side just for the sake of you not having to look at my back. I'm going to turn over to the other side. You don't have to. You can if you want to. Let's take our weight forward tabletops. This time starting with our left foot forward, taking those hands away from the floor. Again, blanket or pillow on that back knee for a little more support if you'd like. Tucking those hips under. Keep that tight hip, keep those hips tight or rolled forward. And take your time to inch those hips down deeper into that stretch, maybe taking your foot forward a few inches. Allowing that foot to open out to the side. Opening up the inside of that foot as you drop down to those forearms. Let's take those hands down to the floor. Bring that foot flat and in. As you tuck that toe under, let's lift the knee off the floor. We're going back into that rotation. Left hand lifts, right hand stays on the floor, but not sinking into that shoulder. So what I mean by that is try not to put too much weight on that right arm or right hand. I know it's easy to say, hard to do. Let's replace that right hand with our left as we allow our heel to release, opening our right arm to the ceiling. All right, we're gonna sit into that right hip, into that lateral lunge. Notice my toes come off the floor. Hips are back, right foot stays flat on the floor. Lift it back up, rotate your heel as you shift into that runner's lunge. Both hands on the floor. Let's step back into plank. You're holding here for a few breaths. I'm not gonna say 2 this time. I'm not gonna lie to you. But you're gonna stay strong. Squeeze those glutes. I don't want you to hold your breath here. 3, 2, 1. Gently release those knees as you sit back into child's pose. You deserve it. Take your rest. All right, we're going to get to those quads a little bit differently today. So we're going to start shifting forward, release down to the floor. If you have a yoga strap or a belt, you may or may not need it here. What we're going to do is stay laying down here. We're going to reach for our foot. We want the tops of our thighs to stay on the floor. So this may not be enough of a quad stretch for you. Consider that a blessing. But for some of us, we're feeling it in the front of your thigh. I want you to stop if you're feeling too much pressure on your knee. Releasing that foot down, go ahead and switch sides. Gently placing that foot down. We're going to press up into our cobra one more time. Elbows tucked into your body, pressing up to your hands or forearms. Try not to sink into your turtle shell. Bring that head out of it. I'm going to use that from now on. Wave those hips up and sit back onto your heels, child's pose. Bringing your weight back into tabletops. Tucking your toes under, let's lift those knees up and hips back for your downward dog. Inhale, bring your gaze forward. Exhale, hop or step your feet up to your hands. Hold your forward fold here. All right, so if your hands are not placed on the floor, I want you to find something, whether it be a book, a box of some sort, a bucket, something where you can place your hands down for support. I'm going to give you a second to go find something. If your hands are on the floor, great. All right, once you've found something, I'm going to let you pick your starting leg. Your hands are down for support. Standing leg, or your leg that you're choosing to stand on, knee is going to stay slightly bent. Opposite foot, you're just going to raise off the floor. So it's almost like a downward dog, a three-legged dog, except for it's a little bit different because this leg is straight. The standing split. I want you to keep the tops of your feet or your shoelaces facing the floor. So don't open your hips here. That's something I tend to do pretty frequently. I tell my boot camp class, if you ever catch me doing something wrong, you can punish me with burpees or push-ups. All right, let's place that foot down to the floor. Roll it up. I'm going to give you a little bit of time to shake it out. We have that standing split on the other side. When you're ready, let's bring it up. Exhale down, forward fold. We're doing that on the other side. Hands are either on the floor or on your elevated object. Bringing that foot off the floor. One side is probably easier than the other. That's normal. Don't beat yourself up over it. Just try to make them equal. Stretch them both. 3, 2, 1. Release. Roll it up. Head is last. Remember that. All right, big breath here. Exhale, arms to your side. I'm going to have you take one more deep breath. And exhale. We're going to do a side stretch here. Bring that arm overhead. Exhale, you can either bring that arm across your body or on your hand or your hip for support. Pressing that hip to the side, opening here. Slowly lift back up to center. Exhale, other side. Inhale back to center. Big smile. And let's exhale, swan dive, forward fold. If you smile, you tell yourself you're having a good time. You are having a good time, especially because that plank is coming up. All right, go ahead, hop back, step forward, adjust depending on where you placed on your mat. Go ahead and shift to your plank. This is your last one. Remember, smile. You trick yourself into thinking you're having fun here. You can do it. 3, 2, 1, release and sit back. Great job, everyone. Take your time, deep breaths, relax. Bringing those hands below your shoulders, using them to press yourself up. Let's go ahead and scoot back onto our glutes. We're going to release down to the floor. Slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Let's go ahead and tuck that knee into our chest. Slide your heel out in front of you. So I'm going to give you two options here. You can choose to keep that knee tucked in or extend it, but we're going to open that leg out to the side. If your opposite hip wants to release from the floor, then I'm going to have you keep that knee bent. Bringing that leg back to center before tucking that knee into your chest, bringing your knee across your body this time. This time your hip can release from the floor as you open that arm out to the side. Slowly bring that knee back to center. Tuck in your opposite knee before extending out in front of you. Again, you have two options here. You can choose to keep that knee bent, or you can extend it before you open out to the side, as long as both hips stay on the floor here. Bringing that leg back to center, tucking your knee into your chest, allowing that knee to drop over to the side, and opening your arm, opposite arm. Take your time to bring that knee back to center. Place that foot on the floor and extend your heel out in front of you. Relaxing your eyes. Placing your hands where they feel comfortable. I want you to use this time to take notice of your breath. Are you cutting those breaths short? Take time to exaggerate that breath. Bring your mind back to your body. Slowly sliding those feet back flat to the floor. And rolling over to one side. Go ahead and open your eyes. Take your time here. And slowly slide yourself back into that seated position. Finishing with our deep breaths. Arms go overhead. Exhale. Bring those arms to ears. And exhale. One more time, hands come to prayer. Exhale, hands to heart. Namaste. Have a beautiful rest of your Wednesday, everyone, and I will see you all on Monday, if I don't see you before then. Thank you all for coming.